Hi everyone, it's Helen here from Simply Made Crafts, and this week it's our 6th birthday. So this week we are having a big party over at CraftStash to celebrate. We have special bundles that I have chosen for you guys. We have tutorials from all your favourite designers from Monday to Friday, and we also have a giveaway. And today we're going to be making this cake because we need to get ready for our party. Okay, so let's get this party started. We're going to have to do some preparations first by making our cake. So here is today's bundle. This is the birthday tea party bundle, and putting on my top hat. It is a top hat. It is a gift box, but we're going to be making this into a cake. I have my top layer made already, so today we're going to be making our bottom layer. And as it's a tea party, we're not going to be ready for the tea just yet, so in another video we'll be making our teas. So this is the teacup die set. That's lovely for our little party. And then we have the fancy edge die set. This is perfect for decorating our cake and adding fancy flourishes to your decorations or invitations. And we have the dinky bows and blooms die set. I love this one. It's going to be perfect as it has the flowers and the bows too. And then an A5 stamp set, which is tea themed or tea party themed. Absolutely perfect, especially if you love a cup of tea with your best mate. So here is our cutting guide. I will start with the small one first. This is what you make from the small one. 2 of these, and then we have these 2 center dies here, and then we have these 3 larger ones, and that's the center one there if you want to make this into a top hat. Okay, so pop that on there and you have a miniature top hat, but for this project we're not going to be using that one. So let's grab the dies now for what I've cut out already. For the larger one, 2 of these, which is this section here, and then we have these 2 outer ones in this little configuration. We have the lid section and the base section, and 2 of those each. And then if you did want to make this into a hat, if you're making a hat, this will be the larger circle for the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to be starting off with some inking first. I have here picked raspberry. It comes out as this colour on the white cardstock. So I have my 2 larger circles, my 2 smaller circles. So I'll show you which ones that you need to ink for those, but we'll start off with these sections first. Now, we're going to have to start from this side where the little tabs are. Otherwise, you'll have like a funny looking cake like my experiment here. I inked on the wrong side and it looks a bit funny. It's not very birthday cakey. This one looks a lot nicer. So I'm just going to use my brush and just ink up the sides here, only to around about here. We are going to be covering this section up with some of those fancy edges along the bottom. So do this on both of those pieces. And if you're wondering what cardstock I'm using the 300 GSM Super Smooth cardstock from Creative Craft Products. These come in A4 and I use them for pretty much everything. They're great for printing on as well if your printer takes the thicker cardstock. Okay, so these are the 2 ones that I've done. You need to die cut another 2 of these, but keep them plain. Okay, so you'll have a total of 4 of these. Okay, so we need to ink up one of these circles, so I'm going to place aside these 2 of the smaller ones, and I have 2 of the larger ones. Move one of those aside. We're just going to ink around that one. Just going to go around the edges. You don't really need to cover the center because this is going to hide it, but I would like a really good coverage as much as we can. Okay, so we're now ready to start assembling. We have our pieces here for our top section. This is going to be the top bit of the lid. This is going to be for the base. There are 2 small circles and 2 of our plain. Let's move those aside and let's prep these now. So what I like to do for this particular project is to use some red tape. So I'm going to be adding that to the inside here of these tabs. So add them here, and then I will show you where we're going to add it to the side. Okay, right, so these are the insides of our pieces and I've got my tape added here. So let's add these 2 together now. I am going to use glue for this one, and then I'm going to add a bit of tape to the end here. So let's do that. Let's turn that over and then glue those. I'm going to be using the bookbinding glue. It's fast drying. There is a little notch here as well as a guide on where not to go over with your glue. And then I'm just going to add some tape just to this side here. Change my mind, I'm going to go for something thin. And then give this a really good press with your bone folder. Then you can fold over these little tabs here. Okay, so we have our two little circles here. We're going to start off by taking off all of the backing on the bottom and the side. We're going to grab one of our circles and we're going to start with the tabbed side here, the tab on this end here. We're just going to pop those little tabs at the bottom there just to get us started. Now I've got this long panel here in my left hand and I'm going to use that to kind of curve this circle into it, and I've got my fingers at the bottom where I'm just pressing that into place, and I'm just going to work my way around this. Now I've tried to assemble this top hat in a few different ways, and this was the best way that I found to put this together. So I've got it to about this stage now, and I'm just going to add a bit more glue on top of here, not too much, just a little line that is going to hold that in place. Because it's a round, it's going to want to spring open, so I have the tape and the glue just to make sure that it just stays there for the long term. I'm going to quickly pop this there, and then I'm going to make sure that I have this aligned, that it's not kind of sloping, and that it is quite straight. So I'm happy with that. There we go. Keep that as straight as possible, and then if you want to, you can go in with your bone folder and just press that down. And then we just need to press these down as well, and the easiest way to do that is from the bottom. Go in with your bone folder and give that a good press. Now that is our base done, and there is one important thing that I forgot to mention, is we have these side tabs here on the ends. Do not fold them, there's no score line. If you fold them, you're going to get a very weird shaped circle or cylinder. Right, so now we're going to do exactly the same as what we've done here, but with this one. Okay, so let's affix our little circles on the top now, but you may want to just quickly test before we finish these off, just to make sure that they work, which they will do. If you followed this technique, they will fit. So I have here the top section. I'm going to pop that on there, hence why we needed the 2 circles for each piece. Okay, so here is our base, and then here we have the top of our cake as well, so we're going to glue those together. So let's get this glued on. This is coming together really nicely. I'm loving how this is turning out. Right, now let's move on to decoration whilst those dry. I have here some of these lovely swirly pieces from Gold Mirror cardstock. Let's have a quick look at the die set. This is in the bundle too, the fancy edge die set. These are quite some large pieces here. Here we go, and they're absolutely perfect for loads of different types of projects. So I have used these 2 here. I've cut 2 from this one and 1 from this one. So we have tabs here, but I don't need to actually use those tabs for today. This is the tabs are just there in case you want to fold them over and then attach them around something that's round, like a plate or something like that, if you're making like a big like cake stand or something. Just going to take this off, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attach some double-sided tape on here, wrap that around, and then I'm actually going to trim where I need to. So let's use, yeah, the thinner one today. Okay, so this does have a little bit of a tabbed end. I think that's the bit I'm going to lose, and I'm going to run this around. That's the wrong side. We're going to pop this around the white edge. And you can also actually do this around the other way as well, so you can have it pointing downwards. And then also adding this around there also helps to keep these seams in place as well. So let's pop this on there and see how it's coming along. It's coming along really nicely. Now let's do the bottom one. So here is how our cake is looking so far. 2 little gift boxes there. You could add some little treats, and there is even space if you want to line the outside here with some pretty paper. There is room in there for you to do that. And now we're going to be moving on to some decorating. So I have here some flowers using the Dinky Bows and Blooms. So I've got my little bow made up. I've used this tail here, and I've just gone into my stash, grabbed myself a number because we are turning 6 this week. I'm not too sure if I'm going to add a butterfly. I may just add a butterfly or 2 to the teacups, and also I may not use all of these flowers. I might keep some aside for the teacups too. So I've used pink cardstock and purple cardstock, and I've inked the edges with the same picked raspberry. So here is my birthday cake. It doesn't really fit on the screen very well, so I have to go diagonal a bit, but this is absolutely stunning. I love how this has turned out, and I'm going to really enjoy looking at this, although I would wish I had this as a real cake as well. So I've added the flowers onto the bits that move, so I can take the lids off and fill that with my favourite treats. And I've got some leftovers here as well for my teacup. So the teacup tutorial that matches this cake is going to be released on the Simply Made Crafts channel, and that will be this week sometime. Now before we go, don't forget to enter the competition that we have for it. It's a £50 voucher to spend at CraftStash, plus the Paper Society box, and all of that will be detailed down below. And whilst we're on the subject of the Papercraft Society box, we have Lou Collins on the channel tomorrow. She'll be making a lovely birthday project with that box as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that one. So if you've wished me happy birthday in the comments, thank you so much. We have an exciting week ahead with lots of tutorials and bundles coming up. So thank you all for joining me today, and I'll see you again soon.